Hello guys, today my Chrysler Sebring developed some misfire. I have a P0303 number 3 cylinder misfiring. Let's see what we can do. We're going to do a cylinder drop down test first. Basically we're going to unplug one by one, coil unplug, and see the changes in the RPM. I'm not going to plug in my scan tool to look at the RPM because it's a very obvious misfire. I think we can pinpoint by listening at the engine. Listen at it's idle. It misses at the idle. Then we're going to use a lab scope. We're going to look at the current ramp on the coils and injectors, and also I'm going to use a this pedal. It's the coil and plug pedal. It was used to. It's a quick probe. Basically, it was attached to this handle, and but the battery ran out, and I didn't want to change it. I don't like the way it works. Supposedly, if there's a lights, the flashes, if you have a good burn and good coil, good spark, I never really could use it. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this in conjunction with I just have a test lead, one that has little threads on it. So I'm just going to screw this in, and I'm going to use it as a coil and plug probe. I'm just going to plug into one of my channels on my lab scope, and I have this adapter for my OTC lab scopes, a banana adapter. So we can look at the dwell time and the burn time and spark time. I'm not good at it at all. I mean, I'm still learning the secondary ignition patterns. It's very you can get a lot of information out of it, but it just takes a long time, a lot of practice to learn all these little details, what it means. But I think we can kind of see what is happening. I think once we get to the coil or cylinder that's misfiring, we should be able to see some changes in our pattern on our lab scope. So okay, so let's get to it. I'm going to start the car. I'm going to do a cylinder drop down test first, and see if we can figure out what. I mean, it's a number 3 cylinder, but now we can use this to see how to do a cylinder drop down test. Basically, we're going to unplug each coil. Now on this engine I can easily get to the first 3 coils. The one in the back a little harder to get to it, but I think I can do it. So let's start it up and see what we got. As you can see, it's really misfiring. It's a constant misfire. So I'm just going to start unplugging coil one by one. And actually, now I can see the changes right here. This one is okay. This one is okay. We can feel the difference in the RPM. This one is really good. So, there we go. This one is working. This one is working. Now, if you have a hard time between 2 cylinders to figure out which, if it's now what we can do, we can unplug one of them and then unplug one next to it and see if it continues. See that? It's almost stalled. Right there. See, we can see the really. Sometimes we cannot tell for sure what cylinder is misfiring. Just unplug one and then start unplugging other cylinders, and then that's gonna make a big difference on your RPM. So let's go this one here. I can feel a difference here. This one is working, and this one is working. And now one in the middle. Of course, this one is. There you go. Now I'm plugging this cylinder, and I see no changes in my RPM. This is my cylinder that's not contributing. So it's one in the number 3. It's one in the back, in the middle. So now I already have my current ramp setup on my scan tool. Okay, I need to move this to see if there's too much glare. It's a little bit better. See if I can move it. Okay, so what I have here, I have my M clamp. I'm measuring current on my injectors and my coils, and this is this fuse is number 24. It's a 20 amp fuse. I got my M clamp around, and now we can see the okay, so I'm going to change the time base, and I'm going to put my cursor, my trigger. I'm going to change it to green channel 2. Okay, now we can see the one of the cylinder. We're dropping current on one of the coils. So I'm going to increase my time base a little bit. Now I'm going to stop and go back. You can see we are misfiring right here. This is my problem coil right here. You can see the dropping the current there. Now I'm gonna go back with my trigger to channel 1, because I'm gonna use this probe, and so here channel 1 auto, and I'm gonna keep the green channel on, and let's get the coil unplugged probe and see what kind of signal we're gonna have. Okay, so now I need to change my time base to around 15 milliseconds. Actually, more than that, probably like 20 milliseconds. Okay, and I need to change my voltage scale. 10 volts. Okay, now we can see that we have a now my green channel. I'm going to turn my green channel off for now. Sometimes when I turn the green channel off, my yellow goes crazy, but here it is. We have our secondary ignition pattern. I know this is my dwell time. This is how long computer is energizing the coil. This is my spark time. We can measure that by putting the cursors over. Remove my. There we go. Actually, I can leave it right here. It's fine. And now. Okay, okay, I see. I'm sorry about this. I need to alright. What happened actually, I still had this activated on my to move my trigger, so I was gonna move my cursors, and then the trigger goes off the screen. Now this is what happens to my scope now. It for some reason just go nuts. And at this point I have to see, it just loses my signal. I don't know what's going on. If I bring my channel 2 back, now it's back. I don't know why it's doing that. It's something internal in I don't know. Anyway, now we have it's kind of annoying, but this green channel, the second channel is on as well. But nevertheless, we can see our. This is at dwell time. It is around 1.6 milliseconds. My burn time is around 1.2 milliseconds. So let's just go from one cylinder to another and see. So this is my front bank. This one is good. This one is good. Now going to the second. Now this one is good. And this is the problem. This is number 3 cylinder. You can see that my dwell time is a lot shorter. Yeah, this is the problem. And now this is the good one again. You can see the dwell time is going back to normal. So this is where the computer is actually doing something to this coil, and that's why we see our current is actually it's dropping down, is because of the dwell time that's shorter. And now, right now the dwell time is only like 0.7 milliseconds. So this is the way you can pinpoint your bad coil, if you can get to it, if it's not covered by intake manifold. So I guess right now we'll have to take the coil out in the spark plug and to see, you know, what the deal is. So let's get to it. Okay guys, now I need to get to my coil in the back there. So now the problem is you cannot pull the coil out because of the firewall. It's just that there's not enough room. This is the model when they changed the coil and plugs. The earlier models, they had a soft boot, and you could change it just by, you know, kind of reaching in the back. This is a solid, and just the tip is little. It's a rubber. So now, in order to get to it, I will have to drop my engine mount on the passenger side. I have my floor jack under my engine, and I put a little piece of 2x4 to support my oil pan. So now I'll have to, they got 3 bolts down under this side, so I'm going to take all 3 of them off and slowly drop the engine down. You have to kind of watch these hoses, and so you don't get impinged or something. So now, right now I got to jack it up just a little bit, so my jack will support my engine, and once I get my bolts off, I will slowly drop it down. And by the way, I'm using a Harbor Freight ratchet. It works very good. I like it. I have a lot of Pittsburgh line tools. Use them all the time. I'm very happy with it. I don't own a lot of professional, you know, my skin tools are, you know, professional, but all my hand tools are just whatever I can find. I use Cobalt, I use Craftsman, I use Pittsburgh, and they all have a lifetime warranty, so they're fine. You can see the engine dropped down just a little bit, but I had it supported with my jack, so it's okay now. So now I'm just gonna drop it very, very slow and just observe the engine, so that all my hoses and everything, I don't wanna. Okay. So maybe. Let's see here. Alright. I hope this should give us enough room to work. So now I'm going to reach back there. I'm going to take the number 10 socket, unbolt my coil and plug. Now I can lift it up, and now I can unplug it, the electrical connector. Alright, let's see if I can. Alright, there you go. Here's my coil. I see no damage on the coil. I don't see a trace. I don't see anything that's unusual that could like a trace of arcing on the side or anything like that. So let me get the spark plug out and see what that looks like. Now this is a good opportunity to show you guys how you can take the spark plug out. This can be very difficult as well. So what I do, I take my spark plug socket and so now the spark plug is pretty deep down in the head, so you cannot have a longer extension because you just don't have enough room to get down to your spark plug. So what I do, I use two short extensions. So I put one on the, make sure you got a good one because you don't want this to be stuck down in the engine. So one that snaps really good, that holds it really good. So so what you're going to do, you're going to drop down in the wheel first, and then you're going to put this on top of it. So once you unscrew your spark plug, then you're going to remove this one, and then you're going to remove the rest of it, the socket and your spark plug. So I'm going to drop this in. Okay. And now I'm going to put this extension down on top of the other one. Snap it together. Okay, now I can feel I got my spark plug engaged. Make sure this is on there. Okay. There we go. Now I'm quite honestly, I'm a little confused. I could see that my current ramp was, you know, lower on this coil, but also we could see that our dwell time was a lot shorter, and that's why there's not enough current going through the coil. So that computer is intentionally doing that, maybe because of the bad spark plug. And I didn't see that shorted primary on my lab scope either, where you can see the straight line up. I hadn't seen that on my lab scope, so I don't know. So now I'm going to take one extension off like this, and then I can remove my other. There you go, guys. See, can be done. So. Let's see, these are actually new spark plugs. I replaced them not long ago, maybe I mean a couple of years ago. There's not many miles on it. So here's my spark plug. I mean, I don't see any traces of arcing anywhere. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this spark plug back in, and I'm going to change the coil, and let's see what happens. Okay, well. So now to get your spark plug back in, so again, just now again, get good a socket. You want this to be very snug. You don't want anything to. You don't want to lose anything in your wheel. Okay, so get good grip on it. Drop it in there nice and slow. Don't drop it, just lower it down actually. And if you don't have enough room, just take this off as well. Just put it in there. It's a little tedious, but it can save you a lot of time. You don't have to take your intake off, or intake manifold off, and do all that nonsense. You can just. So now I got lower it down, and I got to take another piece and put it in there. And you can do the same on all three of them actually. I mean, it's I've done it before. But just by hand, put your spark plug in there. And I have a used coil. I have a couple used coils because these coils are going bad on this car all the time. So. And it's always one in the rear, always. Okay, so I'm going to socket. Just always do it by hand. You don't want to put put it on the ratchet right away. Just by feel. Go slow. So if you're changing your spark plugs and coils on these cars, this is what you can do. So just drop your engine on your passenger side. It's just engine mount has 3 bolts, 15 millimeter. That's all you need to do. Make sure you have a jack under your engine. So and now get socket out. 1 step, 2 steps, out and out. So your spark plug is in it. Now I got my used coil. I'm going to put it in there and see what happens. Now before you drop your coil all the way down, make sure you connect your electrical connector. It's going to be a lot easier. So, okay, got all it connected. Get your 10 millimeter bolt. Don't lose that, you're going to need it. Okay. Just going to jack the engine up a little bit. I'm going to start it up, see what happens. I'm just going to leave it on the jack for a minute to see if it's going to work. Okay, works fine. Alright, I'm going to get my bolts, I'm going to get my engine mounted. Now you have to, again, raise your engine up a little bit, and then you can leave these bolts in the place. You don't have to take them out. This is just enough to drop the engine down a little bit. Now I'm gonna jack it up a little bit, get the engine lined up, and I'm going to repeat the test with the left scope to see now. I mean, it's going to be okay, but I guess it was shorted primary, and that's why the computer was limiting current on it. Alright, let's get the ratchet. And I tried this by lowering the engine mount on the driver's side. It really didn't work that well. This works much better. And if you decide to do your spark plugs, just get a good tools, get a good socket, spark plug socket and extensions, so they don't get undone once you put them down into the wheel. So you want to have a good snug fit on that. Alright, this takes forever. Almost there. Okay. Alright, well, let's get the lab scope and see the signal now. Okay, get you on the scope again. Okay. Okay, this is the front cylinders. It's my pattern, my signal. Okay, this is the one that's giving us a problem. That's good now. No problems at all. I don't know why. I mean, it was a shorted coil, and this pattern is a little longer. This real time. I'm just going from one coil to another right now, and this is the bad one. It used to be number 3. Going to the next one. This one has a little longer dwell time as well. interesting. And one of the front bang. So okay, now I'm gonna get my end clamp real quick and end close. Now we should see the same current on all of the coils right now. I need to move this. It's killing my signal now. Oh, it's upside down. Okay. And change my time base to 7 milliseconds. Alright, now we can see all of the injectors, coils having a same current. Okay, so honestly, if you guys know why this, I know it was a shorted coil, but I guess computer could see that, and it would limit the current to that coil, and that's why our dwell time was shorter, almost like 0.7 milliseconds, and it has to be a then shorted primary, I believe. So, well, this is a good case study. So if you have this if you can look at your secondary ignition pattern, so just use, look at your dwell time. If you have a very short dwell time, that could be indication that the computer is doing that intentionally to limit current on it. So, alright guys, that's it. Okay, well that's it. Actually, I was glad I could show you guys how to replace those spark plugs underneath the firewall. They're very difficult to get to it, so just one more time let me show you what I used. So basically you got your spark plug socket, get 2 extensions, so drop one in there first and then follow with the other one. Just gotta make sure you got a good quality tools. Don't buy something cheap, because it will need, you're gonna need something that holds. Now if you pull this out and this stays in a wheel, you're gonna have a problem. You have to go back in there, try to get it out. So, and this is actually this is cobalt. I like it a lot. It has a good rubber in there. When I get my spark plugs, it stays pretty good in there, stays snug, so I don't have a problem that spark plug is gonna fall out of it. So so that's it. So you drop this, and then you put a second extension on it. You get down to your spark plug, take it out. Once you start pulling your spark plug out, once you get grip to the bottom extension, take this one out, and then you can remove your spark plug. And with your coil, once you drop that side of the engine down, unscrew your 10mm bolt and just go all the way up to your firewall, and just kind of angle it slowly and take it out. Now with these coils, be careful. Don't angle it too much, because you can damage this part of the boot, this insulation, and then once this cracks, then you're done. Again, you're gonna have a bad boot that's gonna arc on the side. It's not gonna work. So okay, well guys, I appreciate you watching this video. This is all I had for today. And yeah, this, if you have a lab scope, and if you have one of these coil and plug whatever they're called, probes, and if I'm not sure, I guess this should pick it up, this dead miss, it will work, but I kind of found it better on the lab scope. It can actually even pick it up. I used it on the coil and plugs where they have the 3 wires that have a power ground and command signal from the PCM, where the driver is actually inside a coil. It can actually pick up the secondary ignition pattern as well. So it actually works okay. But sometimes you have to kind of move around the coil to find a good spot, to get good signal. And of course, if you are on the engine where everything is covered with the intake manifold, it's not going to help you. But for the most part, if you can get to the coils, this is a good tool to have. and these are kind of like 70-80 bucks on eBay. So alright guys, well this is it. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, and see you next time. Bye. Thank you.